קניתם דירה באתונה? מעולה. ועכשיו מה עושים איתה? בפרק היום, פרק מספר 3 של גשר לאתונה, נדבר על הדילמה הקבועה של השכרה לטווח קצר, כלומר ב-Airbnb, בוקינג ופלטפורמות מקבילות, מול השכרה לטווח ארוך בחוזה שכירות רגיל. נצלול ליתרונות ולחסרונות של כל אפשרות, כמה באמת אפשר להרוויח, כמה כאב ראש יש בניהול, ומה קורה כשממשלת יוון מחליטה להקשיח רגולציה. נשתף גם מספרים אמיתיים, דוגמאות מהשטח ותובנות שיעזרו לכם לבחור את האסטרטגיה שמתאימה לכם. איתנו נמצא ג'ורג, הבעלים של חברת סמארט פלן, שמנהלת נכסים לטווח קצר, וגם אנחנו עובדים איתו וממליצים עליו.
ממליצים עליו בחום.
Hello, George. How are you?
Hello, guys. Hello. I'm great. I'm happy I'm here with you, with two good friends and partners, I would say. You're two of the people that I love to hang around, so it's nice to be on this podcast as well with you guys.
We are happy you are here. Do you want to introduce yourself to our nice listeners?
So yes, of course. First of all, thank you everybody for joining and watching this podcast. I mean, the guys are amazing. I really have a great relationship with them. I've been working with Gal. I think with Gal and Amir, we are working now 1 year, Amir, isn't it?
Yeah,
we
like that.
we met a couple of a year ago, and it's been a pleasure, guys. Honestly, what you're doing is amazing, and I love that I'm here with you. So me personally, I own 2 companies. The one company is running basically it's 3 companies. The 2 of them are pretty much married. The other one has nothing to do with them. It's something totally different. So the one is pretty much handling real estate in short-term rentals in Greece and Cyprus, not only just in Greece. And the
This is
other one,
Smart Plan. We are talking
this is
about
Smart Plan. Yeah, correct. The other one is basically renovating and actually constructing. It's all about constructing, but mostly focused on renovating and creating apartments which are going to be used on short-term rentals, because it's something that's pretty important. The outcome and what you put into the short-term rentals plays a very big role. How it's constructed, how it's designed, the aesthetic it has, and all these kind of things. So that's what we do in that company. And the other one is pretty much with green energy. So I've been around business for the last since 2011. The first business I've done was in 2011. I've been owning my own real estate, which are all also handled by the company on short-term rentals. And obviously, I will get after into details how I ended up creating the companies and how I ended up getting into short-term.
Great. We also highly recommend on George, and I'll switch to Hebrew to translate super quickly. אז ג'ורג' אומר שיש לו 3 חברות ביוון, אחת שקוראים לה סמארט פלן, שעושה את הניהול לטווח קצר. כשאנחנו מדברים על ניהול לטווח קצר, הכוונה ל-Airbnb בשפת העם, Airbnb, בוקינג, פלטפורמות כאלה. חברה נוספת עושה בנייה, שיפוצים ומכינה דירות שיהיו מתאימות להשכרה לטווח קצר. חוץ מזה יש לו עוד חברה של אנרגיה ירוקה.
אז חבר'ה, אחרי שעשינו את ההיכרות, פתיח ואנחנו מתחילים.
If you ask me a question on Hebrew, you need to translate me in English. I'm not there yet, but maybe, I mean, you're teaching me already Hebrew, so slowly I will start understanding.
Let's go into the questions. Why, in general, do you think it's better to choose short-term rental rather than other strategies such as long-term rental?
I mean, okay, so first of all, this is the most important question. To me, Greece is a tricky market on long term. For me, that's my own opinion. I mean, obviously, I'm a person who all the properties that I own, they're operating, they're producing money, and the one I'm staying in is leased. So I'm a tenant as well somewhere, but I use my own properties for cash flow. Now, this is the main reason I don't see Greece. And again, that's my own opinion. I know there's people who are going to say different things, and there's, we're human beings and there's different opinions. But to me, investing into a country where the average return is 4.6, I don't see this.
George, can you tell us a bit about the numbers? What returns can investors expect, and what would be a really good return these days for short-term rentals?
Yeah, no, this is $1 million question, I think. And I mean, you know that as well. Depending on the location you're going to buy an asset, there's different prices you will buy it. I mean, if you go to Kolonaki, let's say, for example, but nowadays you cannot make a short-term apartment into Kolonaki because it's blocked by the government, which obviously I think we will speak after as well. But let's say a Belokipi you will go, which is an area, a very good area in Athens. It's a little bit more expensive, so the return obviously is going to be lower on percentage. But I mean, we spoke that with Amir many times.
We understand it will be lower in percentage, but the amount of money you will get, it will be
a little bit higher. But if you go to Patricia, for example, which I know some people hate talking about it, I own a property in that area that I make approximately 22 to 23% a year. If you tell that to people, they think you're insane.
22% net?
Clean. Obviously, I don't have handling expenses. Nobody's handling that. I mean, my company's handling my own apartment, so I don't pay for that. That's the truth, speaking reality. Mm-hmm. But still, let's say you pay a property management to manage the apartment, you will make 17. The number is crazy, you know.
But so, what will you say it's the average return?
You should look around
in the center of Athens.
8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Depending what you buy. You know, Gal, you know that. I always ask you how much you bought it. This is the first question I ask.
Yes, of course. So people who don't own a management company can expect realistically to 10 to 8%.
8 to 10. 8 to 10.
Yeah,
if you're in Kolonaki, a little bit less.
אני אסכם רגע את מה שג'ורג' אמר. בכללי, ג'ורג' מדבר על זה שזה מאוד תלוי איפה אתה רוכש את הדירה שלך. אם אתה רוכש ממש במרכז העיר, אז יהיה לך, אולי אתה תרוויח יותר, אבל מבחינת אחוזים זה יהיה פחות.
אתה תכניס יותר, אבל התשואה שלך תהיה פחות טובה, כי הדירה עלתה לך הרבה מאוד כסף.
כן, העניין הוא שהממוצע הוא מדבר על דירה באזור די עני, שהוא מקבל ב-22%.
אבל הוא מדבר על דירה שלו, והוא לא משלם כסף על ניהול, לחברת ניהול. זה לא המספר שלנו.
הוא אומר, אם הייתי צריך לשלם לחברת הניהול, זה היה 17%.
וזו דוגמה קיצונית לחיוב.
אבל בכללי, ביוון, היום באתונה, אנחנו מדברים על אתונה.
It's incredible how you remember all of this we say.
באתונה אפשר לקבל בין 8 ל10%. זה הממוצע הכללי על ה...
הוא אומר, זה ממוצע ריאלי שמשקיעים יכולים לצפות לו, 8-10% נטו. אנחנו תמיד נדבר פה במספרים נטו, אחרי הכל. זה... מה שמשקיעים יכולים לצפות באופן ריאלי, בהשקעה טובה במיוחד, אז זה יהיה גבוה יותר, ובהשקעה לא כל כך טובה, זה יהיה יותר נמוך.
And obviously, you know, making a declaration, because this is something that must be said, I'm speaking based on current conditions, on current pricing, you know, everything is based on the current situation, based on the current ADRs I see around the market. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm not a predictor to predict what's going to happen, because again, Greece is a little bit tricky, and that's a reality, and I'm a person that likes to speak with reality. I don't like to, you know, to get people hyped in order to face something else after.
So, George, as a rule of thumb, how do you calculate the shift from gross income to net income? For example, if my apartment makes 10,000 a year, what will be my net income after everything? Very roughly, of course.
Clarifying question. What guest finally pays in the platform? If the total revenue
If
with
you
platform
can
fees, with
explain
everything is
about it.
10,000.
If you can
If
tell
you
us
can,
about everything, yeah. Like
So
I want to know what how I do the shift from my revenue, from my total revenue to my net
Right.
income.
I would say the number roughly. This is rough. It's a little bit more
Yeah, for
complicated
sure.
to get the real number,
Yeah.
and it will take too much time to explain it. But I think if you take 40% out, this is what the cost is, because we give a price to the channel, then the channel is starting marking up the price, like platform fee, tax fee, a VAT, this, that. It's a little
And
bit
then-
more than that.
And then after the fee of the platform, what other
If
deductions?
we say
we have?
this is 10,000, what the guest paid in total,
yes.
with platform fees, with everything, you should look around 40% down of that.
Yeah.
Can you repeat it? What is include in this 40%?
Total revenue is the price, the average night daily rate. It's the city tax. It's another small tax, which is 0.5%, which is not something serious. VAT and the platform fee, the markup.
And then afterwards, we have the management fee and also other expenses, right?
Yeah, expenses, running expenses, like
Yeah,
for example, consumable things that you need into the apartment for it to be operational, into to go
bills,
in order to go to
electricity,
class.
water. Yeah. Mhm.
Water in Greece, you don't need water because mainland Greece, the tap water is drinkable. So if you're in an island, yes, you need. In Crete, we put always water.
So I mean that the owner is going to pay the water bill, the electricity bill. And
Yeah. Of course. Sorry, I didn't got you. Yeah.
So what is the last price? What is the last income that you get from an apartment?
So 60% he mentions, right?
After
I would say
everything.
60%. I would say you look around 60% of the total revenue. Again, I want to make this clear. Total revenue is everything inside. Taxes, platform fee.
Yeah, great.
The average daily rate. It's
Perfect.
all included. Total revenue. So if we say about 10,000, the clean will be around 6,000.
All right.
George, what is the typical occupancy in Athens for short-term rentals?
You will see around 85, but I will say we can cross 90% annually.
Yeah, the numbers I know exceed the 90% annually with no problem.
Just for safety, for
Mhm.
declaration, I will say
to
you
go
will
on
see
the
around
conservative
85%,
Yeah.
but you will cross 90% for sure.
And what are the typical prices per night? I know that it's very hard. It's really depends on which neighborhood, and there is a big differences between them. But
I would
you
say,
can
again, picking and choosing, same studios, different areas. Athens, I do this for Athens. Obviously, I can do it for Thessaloniki or for other areas. But I see here, for example, if we say I would put May to September. The average daily rate is 83 euros that I see in these apartments.
Mhm.
And this is include all of Athens, yeah. Like if I'm asking you
It's
what
from the heart, from Syntagma up to Patisia, which obviously Patisia sell lower price. Patisia, Kypseli, Gizi, they sell cheaper prices. Obviously, Kolonaki,
and low season and everything.
Kolonaki, Pagrati, Syntagma, all these kind of areas sell higher prices. So it depends. But the average to all of them, I see here 83 euros, 83.67.
But sorry, George, if we want to talk about an annual average and not only about the high season, will it still be the numbers?
I'm putting you from May to September. These apartments are not all of them operating the whole year, so it's not going. I put January to September 2025, and the average daily rate is 77 euros. Drops down to 77 euros because obviously in January, February are bad months in Athens. So prices are totally different.
In general, how do seasonal patterns like summer against winter impact profitability?
Now, here's my answer to that. On short-term rentals, you don't see profitability based on a month, but annually. That's how you really know the percentage. Because still on the bad months, which is November, which is a very bad month, October is also not such a good month, but still operational, still tourism. January is very bad after 15 to a little bit middle of February, and then it starts raising because obviously tourism, the flights to US are increasing every single day, so things start to move again.
Are there big differences in terms of the income or the cash flow between the months, between the strong months to the weak ones?
You will drop significantly in the winter.
Let's say, what is the lowest month, the lowest income? Which one is the lowest?
The worst period, because you cannot say a month. The worst period is from 10th of January to 30th of January. It's the worst one. Prices are terrible, very low. We still have occupancy, don't get me wrong. We move the apartments. We need to move the apartments. Good prices, good critics that will move you into the summer. But the prices are very, very low.
Yeah.
Like how much compare? Like, is it in the high season? Is it doubled in the prices in the low season?
Of course. Okay. You can see, you can see it double in the summer than what you will see. You can see it triple in the summer than you will see it in January.
Now let's talk a bit about locations. So, what are the best neighborhoods to focus on in terms of returns?
Patricia and Kypseli, nothing else.
Patricia and Kypseli.
Period.
Interesting.
It's the only place where you will get reasonable prices, good prices. I mean, the locations are not the best. That's the truth. Kypseli is way better than Patricia. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, when the metro will be running in Kypseli, it will be like massive. It will be mind-blowing. If you buy now in Kypseli, comparing when the metro will start operating, because obviously we're in Greece, things are a little bit slow.
Yeah,
it will bump up. But now, value for buying, renovate, get it running. No question. People, again, if you ask somebody else, if you ask an agent, he will say to you, he will try to push you more to a Belokipus, to also Kisariani is very good, but Kisariani is expensive because it's behind Hilton area. You guys that Athens, you can understand, but Kisariani is a good place to buy. Belokipus is very good as well, don't get me wrong, but the prices are way high.
Yeah.
But our people are coming to Patricia for short term. They're coming to Kypseli for short term.
Of course.
They're coming to those places.
In here, I'm telling you, in these apartments that I have Kypseli and Patricia as well. Honestly, one of the reasons why the percentage I told you before is not 100% is because the apartments in Syntagma are not 100% because their price is expensive. They're good apartments, quality renovation, very good quality. So it's high pricing, and they have some empty days in the middle of the month, So this is dropping the occupancy.
Okay.
Honestly.
George, are there any up and coming areas that investors should keep an eye on?
Kypseli is a good area you should look on. Gizi is also a very good area, but it's getting expensive because Belokipi obviously, are raising. Again, man, I'm telling you, I think at one point bad areas will be cleaned up and proper made, because Athens is really moving to the European style, clean things, and again, tourists do not understand the difference of Kipseli, Patricia, Gizi to Kolonaki, or they see a better price, they see a metro next to it, they go like, okay, why not?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you think like a tourist, if you think like a local, is totally different.
Yeah.
George, how is the government or municipality viewing the short-term rental market? They are supportive or not?
Politicians, and again, this is a personal opinion and a business driven, they have to blame it somewhere. There's a serious problem right now in Greece about, apartments being leased to people who can stay in. Now, what happened is that, investors bought apartments, right? They invested money, and an investor wants to make money through it. So the price is raised. And, people cannot afford to rent some of these apartments. The Financial University of Athens made a study which is proving that 0.6% of the apartments are the apartments who are being used on short-term rentals. You understand what I mean? So we're not the problem, although government is not so supportive. That's the truth. But that's an opportunity as well, if you see it, because if you make a good work, there's apartments who are getting out because they are not as they have to be. You understand what I mean? They're not renovated a nice way. So the platform itself and the system from,
It's built out of the system.
Yeah, it's pushing them out for good apartments to stay in order to be operational.
All right. Can you tell us a bit about the new regulations the government added this year?
This year they changed the €2 and €8. They are changing. We're waiting. Yeah, they changed. Now we are forced by law to have everything that the hotel has inside: smoke alarm, fire extinguisher, but not any type of fire extinguisher. This is the problem. You don't take a 750 milligram. You need to have a 6 kilo one inside the apartment that you can, a 6 kilo apartment can take a fire down of 100 square meter apartment. You know what I mean? Yeah. You need to have a 6 kilo one. You need to have, an application by electrical mechanic signed, applied to the government, and obviously they will start requesting to go into the apartments starting Monday. They said they will start it on Thursday, but obviously they are going to give a little bit of time because they came 15 days ago and they said, okay, you need to do that. So,
but George's management company, Smart Plan, is taking care of these businesses for us, so don't be scared.
Of course. That's our job. And again, I'm telling you, if you do a nice work on short term,
and most probably they are going to extend it into 2026, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got to say here, nothing more stable than fast changes. So, we will see. They say till 2026, but we will see what they will do.
All right.
I will say maybe we will extend it in Hebrew. A few words about the new regulation that Amir mentioned. ב-2025 התחילו, אתה רוצה קצת לדבר על זה, או?
יש כל מיני, הממשלה ביוון רואה ב-Airbnb, בתיירות לטווח קצר, או לפחות זה משהו, כמו שג'ורג' אומר, שיכולה להאשים, כחלק ממה שגורם לעלייה במחירי השכירות למקומיים. הכניסו כל מיני צעדים שמקבילים את ה-Airbnb, נדבר על זה קצת יותר אחרי זה. אז ג'ורג' הזכיר עלייה במס העירוני, במיוחד בהיי סיזן, זה עולה מ1.5 לאזור €8. בשכונות הכי מבוקשות לתיירות במרכז אתונה, בקוקקי, פסירי, אקסרכיה, פלקה, בכל כל השכונות האלה, אי אפשר כרגע, לפחות עד סוף 25, כנראה גם יאריכו את זה ל-26, לרשום דירות חדשות ל-Airbnb שעוד לא היו בפלטפורמה.
בקיצור, אי אפשר לקנות דירות באזורים האלה ולשים את זה ל-Airbnb.
All right, so let's talk a bit about common mistakes that people do. What common mistakes do you see new investors making when entering the short-term rental market?
Straight to the point. Number one, they think they know how to price apartments. The worst thing. There's a very specific strategy on how you do it in order for you to grow over the years and not stay empty and then go like, oh my God, it's not working as I expected it. Obviously, one apartment is not going to make you rich. That's the truth. It will make you a very good return on investment, which is what you look into. And then the biggest mistake everybody does is they don't do the renovations they need to do. They become cheap. And I understand it. You want to go as low as possible, okay? And we have this conversation in person as well. When I renovate one apartment of my own, the same square meters, it will cost you less than it will cost me, because I always exaggerate. I mean, people who work for our company, they go like, okay, man, you should relax. Don't do all of these things. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it because I want to be the first choice. When they see it, when they go in, when I want them to feel it, that they get into a nice aesthetic, a nice apartment, and they feel like home. They feel like it's luxurious. You know, it's all about feelings, and feelings are created. That's how we feel the feelings. An apartment, a nice aesthetic, will make you feel like what you paid it worth the way. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So renovation is the biggest mistake, and then most of them, they think a little bit that they know how things work out. It's again like me going to the doctor and saying to him what I have and what he needs to prescribe me. Why would you go to the doctor if you know what you have?
George, can you share a success story and maybe also a lesson learned from your own portfolio?
From my own portfolio, the lesson I learned is very specific. I don't go for long term, me personally, in Greece. In Cyprus, for example, I will go in for long term. It works the way. It works the return. It works, people are paying. You're not anxious. Will he pay? Will he not? It's a little bit different. So the biggest lesson I learned is that when you go to the short-term rentals, you got to make a nice work. If you do a nice work, your apartment will make way more money than what it will make you in, long term. Obviously, the difference in the cost is basically on the finishes. That's what you pretty much pay more on the renovation. Like, you will get better tiles. You won't buy tiles for, 10, 12 meters per square meter. Okay, 10, 12 euro per square meter. You will get better tiles, better work, better aesthetic. It will cost a little bit more, but, it will create you the result. And then what I learned is that don't get emotionally involved with it. And I learned it from Patricia. Again, I speak a lot about it. I was the person that was the most negative person to buy in bad areas. When I bought it and I renovated it, and I said, okay, I will make a good renovation. I will make it very nice. And I did the renovation, and I see the cash flow it created. I was shocked. I was the number one person who will say, no, don't go there. Bad area. Bad things happen. And it's true, it's not the best area. But that was my emotion talking to it. It was not my business mind. Like, okay, does it worth it? Will it make a good return? And the truth is that if you don't judge the area and you see specific things, how you will make the apartment look like, if it's close to a metro, and that will help you move way faster because the price will be cheaper. You will have a nice aesthetic. You will make a very good return, and people will choose you first most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
great. So, George, let's talk a bit about the future trends in Athens. So, do you expect short-term returns to remain strong, or is there a risk of oversupply in the market?
Yes.
the neighborhood?
So, amazing question. I think it will remain strong, but again, I will say what I just said before. The way things are moving, it will throw a lot of unnecessary apartments that are operating in short term for no reason. It will throw them out because they're not nice, they're not the way they have to be, they're not working on the prices they should work. And at one point when you don't make a return at all, what will you do? You will go, okay, rent it long term.
שאלה אחרונה.
George, last question.
George, where do you see the short-term rental market in Athens heading in the next 3, 4, 5 years?
Amazing question. I generally see Greece as not Athens, not just Athens. I see Greece as a very strong market in short-term rentals. It works the way to invest and do it and put an apartment in short-term rentals. Now, obviously, again, I cannot predict what governments will think, what can happen. But if things stay as they are now, I think there will be a decent supply with good apartments, which will be very operational and they will make very good returns. But I think apartments who are not the way they have to be will be taken out from the system itself. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So I see Greece as a very strong market in short term in general. Crete is an amazing place to work short term. It has a very good season, a very full season with high prices. People are choosing Airbnbs and short terms in islands, in big islands like that. So, there's Greece in general is a good place to invest for short term rentals.
George, thank you. It was great to have you with us.
I appreciate you guys. Again, thanks for inviting me.
It was a pleasure to host you here with us.
It's an honor working with you.
It's a big honor to work with you as well. You are a true gentleman, and
appreciate you.
We'll see you again in Athens very soon.
I again, leaving you and dropping you, honestly, the one thing that I value in people is character. For me, that's the most important thing. That's the people, I want to be a character that people want to work with me, and obviously it's vice versa. I want to work with people who have a good character. They're looking for the future, and you guys are amazing. You're doing, you choose, you study the market, and you're giving high value to people, which is something that most people will not take the time to do so. So with this podcast, I think you're giving great value. Obviously, you're a great businessman. And again, I appreciate you for, choosing to work together and operate together, and looking forward to what we can do in the future.
Thanks, man.
George, we appreciate
Okay,
it.
take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye, my friend.
אז תודה רבה לג'ורג'. אחרי כל היתרונות, החסרונות, הסיכונים, ההזדמנויות והמספרים על טווח קצר, אנחנו נעבור בפרק הבא לטווח ארוך. אנחנו כבר אומרים, אין תשובה אחת נכונה, אלא מה שמתאים לכם ולנכס שקניתם. אם אהבתם אותנו, נשמח שתדרגו אותנו באפליקציות הפודקאסטים או ביוטיוב, וגם שתשתפו עם חבריכם. ניפגש בפרק הבא של גשר לאתונה.